Good morning, y'all. In today's video, we're gonna go over a basic teardown of the American Air Arms air rifle. We're gonna cover everything from removing the stock to adjusting the regulator. Let's get to it. If you did want to replace the existing stock with a stock that doesn't require a buffer tube, you will need an AR-15 tool to remove this nut here in order to remove the buffer tube assembly. All right, so a little tip or trick, if you aren't familiar with AR-15s, the easiest way to put the grip back on is you're gonna wanna put the screw in and jiggle it around till it falls into the hole, and put your 3/16 screw in, and these are a little snug. And there she be. All right, in order to properly clean the barrel, per the recommendation of American Air Arms, is you will need a barrel wrench or a barrel tool remover, I guess you can say, that you can purchase from your local American Air Arms dealer. You will need some barrel cloths, I guess. I don't know what they're called. You can use a wire brush, so the same kind of brush that you use to clean your firearms in 30 caliber, this rifle here is a 30 caliber, then you can use that brush. Yes, you can use a wire brush to clean out your American Air Arms barrel. Very unique. I don't know of other air rifles that you can do that with. With this one, you can. In this case, I got a nylon brush. No particular reason. This is what was in stock. This is why I got it. So I'm gonna work with what I got. And then you need this piece as well. This, I don't know what this piece is called, but you use it to push the cotton swabs through the barrel. So you're gonna need that and your cleaning rod. So a lot of people use the kinds of rods that maybe connect. I've used them in the past as well, but through a lot of experience, I've come to like the solid one-piece rods. They're a lot more durable. I have broken many times where the multiple rod connectors connect yeah, just end up breaking them. So they are a little more expensive, but to me, they're worth it. Go ahead and get you some good tools in order to get the job done. So there's that. I have purchased all this from Airguns of Arizona. but you can purchase it again from your favorite local dealer. Okay, to remove the lead buildup, you're going to need a quality lead remover. And I use Shooter's Choice because this is what Tom, the owner of American Air Arms, recommends. This is what he uses, so I'm going to use what he uses. There you go. And I like to use Ballistol to wipe down all my air guns, so it's always nice to have one of these as well, and you'll need a clean rag. Okay, so let's unthread the moderator. Something nice about American Air Arms is it comes with its own moderator, and it isn't just a hollow piece of aluminum. It actually has a nylon polymer core. All right, next we're gonna need the barrel wrench. So you're gonna wanna grab these two parts here and pull it separate. Can you see? Okay, so we're gonna wanna pull that separate. And it has the, this barrel nut has some dimples that you have to line up these two nipples to. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. You heard that? Okay, they lined up, locked into place, and then you're going to loosen. Now, don't be fooled. I did loosen this off camera because it does require some torque. So don't expect it to be that loose. I don't have a vise in my kitchen, but I would recommend putting the gun in a vise because you are going to require, it does require quite the effort to loosen it, but I did it off camera for the simplicity of this video. But once you broke it loose, then you can remove it by hand. All right. And this is your barrel system. Here's the back end. And again, the front end. So we thread the moderator back. We'll give it a little Ballistol wipe. And of course, gentlemen, you do this when your wife's asleep because you don't want her seeing what you do in her kitchen when she's asleep. You want to make sure you thoroughly clean the threads. They are fine. So just make sure you give it a good wipe there. All right, and once it's hand tight, grab your wrench. Make sure it's nice and tight on there. All right, for any internal work, you need to remove the chassis, and you're gonna need 3 tools for that, or 3 Allen keys. You will need a 1/4 inch, you'll need a 1/8, and you'll need a 3/32. Okay, and the first thing you're gonna wanna do is remove the safety, and you're gonna want a 1/8 Allen screw for that. There's an Allen screw right here that you'll have to remove. There's an Allen screw right here next to the regulator gauge that you'll have to remove. Okay, with the safety switch and these 2 Allen screws removed, you are ready to remove the chassis. Just like that. All right, with your rifle disassembled like this, you can do multiple things. You can degas the gun, which we'll cover in a little bit. You have access to the trigger mechanism if you want to adjust your trigger. This is also a great place for you to adjust your hammer spring, which I'll show you is right there. You're gonna get your Allen key, slip it in there. If you wanna slow down or loosen the hammer spring, you're gonna wanna turn it counterclockwise. If you want to speed up your pellet or tighten the hammer spring, you're gonna wanna turn it clockwise. And it is recommended that you do 1/8 inch turn increments. So we're gonna turn it. Now, once you adjusted the hammer spring, before you shoot through the cranny, what you're gonna wanna do is take 3 shots. You're gonna waste those shots, but each shot has to be done with a pellet. So you're gonna cock back, load a pellet in there, shoot. Obviously, you're not gonna shoot in your kitchen in a safe direction. You're gonna take those 3 shots again with a pellet in, and after that, you're gonna wanna shoot through the cranny and see if you're getting the velocities that you're hoping to attain. Okay, probably the biggest question and the real reason why you're watching this video is how to access or adjust the regulator. So let's go through that right now. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you are going to loosen your burst disc. That's right here. You're gonna need a 3/8 inch socket in order to loosen it, and you're just going to slightly turn until you hear air seeping out. Okay, with no more air in the air tube, we're gonna wanna tighten the burst disc just to where it's snug. And now it's safe to remove the air tube. Before you remove your air tube, you do have to remove your barrel. And the reason why is as you loosen it, the gauge on the other side is going to hit your barrel and it won't let you remove the air tube. So you do have to remove your barrel for it. You can now remove your air tube. And there it's removed, and you can see your regulator right there. Now what we're gonna wanna do is remove your regulator. And you can do it different ways. You can get pliers and pull it out this way. The easiest way I have found out to do it is remove this portion as well. And with this part removed, we're gonna wanna push out your regulator, and I just use the barrel to do so. And there's your regulator. Okay, with your regulator out, you adjust it with this brass screw, and you're gonna need an Allen key for that, a 3/16. So you're gonna slide in the Allen key, and if you want to lower the regulator pressure, you're gonna wanna turn it clockwise or inward. So you're gonna wanna turn it inward. If you want to raise the reg pressure, you're gonna wanna do the opposite or counterclockwise, outward. And that's how you adjust a regulator. Any changes you do on your regulator, you want them to be minute, very similar to how you adjusted the hammer spring. Okay, after cleaning out all your threads, you're gonna wanna put your regulator on the receiver. And you're gonna wanna thread your air tube back on. Okay, you want it snug. Now you're gonna thread in this end piece. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is we will thread this fully in, and notice that it's not lining up. Okay, this part needs to be pointing up. So after it's put in all the way, just turn it till it lines up. Something else that we're gonna have to make sure that it lines up is the chassis. So let's go ahead and put it back on the chassis. Okay, before we slip it on the chassis, remember that we did tighten up that burst disc. If not, when you fill it up with air, it's gonna be leaking out. So that's already snug. You saw me do that. Now we're gonna go ahead and put it on the chassis. And what we have to do is make sure that the screw that goes here is lined up with the hole. All right, as you can see here, this is the chassis screw hole, but we cannot see the screw hole on this end cap. So we are going to turn it, and notice that we can barely see it. So we are gonna have to maybe loosen this 1 or 2 turns out in order to get the 2 screw holes to line up. Okay, and now we're gonna put back the safety switch. But before we do so, I want you to pay attention to how thin that screw is compared to the Allen key that you use to tighten it. So please be careful, you don't wanna over tighten it. Okay, make sure it works. Looks good to me. And now we pressurize the gun. Okay, so from here, what I like to do is make sure there are no leaks. So I will pay attention to where I left my pressure, and I will leave it for about 12 hours, 24 hours, depending on your time schedule, and see if that needle has dropped. If it has, then there's a leak somewhere in there. But if it hasn't, then you're good to go. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you found this video useful. Now let's call it a night.